এবং সেখানে ইন্টারন্যাশনাল স্টেকহোল্ডারদের এনগেজমেন্ট খুবই জরুরি। আপনাদেরকে এখানে যারা পরবর্তীতে কথা বলবেন, আমাদের সময় যেহেতু আমরা একটু দেরি করে শুরু করেছি, তবে রাখাইনের লিডারশিপটা খুবই গুরুত্বপূর্ণ। ওখানে মানুষগুলো এখনো স্টেটটা আছে, এখনো সাপ্লাশনের কথা বলছি, সেই জায়গাটায় ওই প্রেক্ষাপটটা খুবই গুরুত্বপূর্ণ। দ্বিতীয় পার্টে বাংলাদেশের কথা তিনি বলেছেন না।
Here I will request them never forget the issue, work for them, and we also doing that. So we are trying.
আছে আপনাদের প্রত্যেকের সাথে একটা ব্যাগ আছে, সেই ব্যাগের মধ্যে বইটা আছে। আপনারা চাইলে এটা করব, আপনারা হাতে এই বইটা নিয়ে গেলে কালকে পরশু বা এক মাস পরে যদি বইটা খোলেন, এটা
principle of protection, which is to gain provision of access to safe territory. There are all kinds of people around on the border as well, including combatants, and protection to safe.
শুরুয়াত করব যেরকম আমি সব সময় করি, তারপরে কনফিডেন্স
that the civilian and the humanitarian character of the camps is maintained. The Rohingya
that এই প্রোগ্রামটা কি, এটা কি আমরা সেলিব্রেশন করছি, কমেমোরেশন করছি, এটা কি কনফারেন্স, এটাকে কি কোন ক্যাটাগরিতে আমরা ফিট করব? And honestly it has been a hard question because we know that the last 3 or 4 days the kind of news that we are experiencing, যেখানে the stop the work order, the kind of ripple it has created not only in Bangladesh, of course Bangladesh, Rohingya, but worldwide. It has of course created already some sort of a gloomy environment, actually forced us to settle into some sort of a despondency. And it's of course creating an anxiety for everybody who is involved in this. That includes of course the local organization, government, the UN, and most importantly the communities themselves. So এই জায়গা থেকে যখন আমি দেখছি, তখন আমার মনে হয় যে সবথেকে ইম্পর্টেন্ট at this point in time are 2 things. One, we have to have an effort, concerted effort to install hope, because if we get succumb and surrender to the forces that are around us, which are hostile in nature, and of course it is being demonstrated through declining, depleting resources. Every time we are talking only about budget cuts, rationalization, many other ways to ensure that how can we bring more to these people with lesser and lesser resources, and we don't know what exactly that threshold is and what should be. So under those circumstances, it's likely that people and everybody is likely to become a bit hopeless.
I see this question which he asked me in that broader context. The Oxfam's latest report, which has just come out, I think a month back or like 3 weeks back, something like that.
2 weeks back.
2 weeks back. So I'm just quoting the exact statement from there. Legacies of inequality and pathologies of plunder pioneered during the time of historical colonialism continue to shape the modern world, the modern lives. So some of the issues which you are asking has a legacy in past. What we see in front of us in the post, because these are some larger questions you have asked me, is the post-Second World War, when the world was coming out from the devastation. We thought an era of multilateralism. We thought an era of which will come, which is a rule of law. And we thought that some of the legacies of past, which is on colonization, racism, slowly will disappear, and we will build an institution which is more based on equality, equity. Unfortunately, that 70 or 80 years have passed now. How many years?
Cannot just look at where the people are. They come from across a border, so we have to be very mindful of the situation in Myanmar. And the situation in Myanmar is unfolding even as we speak. It has unfolded over the last year, particularly in ways that were not expected, I think, by many bordering states as well. the raging conflict, forcing civilians to flee and seek safety within Myanmar, the large majority are within Myanmar, an attempt to cross across borders has a direct impact on the neighboring countries. It's a geostrategic issue, it's a geostrategic and a geosecurity issue that the regional countries have to deal with. Rohingyas are caught in the middle. Let's not forget, the Rohingya are a stateless community. They have not been considered as citizens of Myanmar for several decades, deliberately disenfranchised, deliberately rendered stateless. They are being targeted, they are being instrumentalized by opposing factions. Close to 700,000 Rohingya are still in the Rakhine. And this is a deliberate state policy, but it seems to also be applied by the non-state armed actor that is currently in control of a large part of the Rakhine. Let's not forget, in a conflict zone, you have normal issues, and it's very normal because people cannot tend to agriculture. You have food insecurity and risks of famine coming up. If not today, then tomorrow. It is bound to happen. Look around the world in conflict zones. Seeking safety remains dangerous. Borders have been mined. Drone attacks on boats of civilians fleeing to seek safety. I wonder why that is being done as well. Engaging the Rakhine leadership is critical. The armed actors on the ground are not the leadership. The leadership is sitting elsewhere. Engaging the Rohingya leadership the Rakhine leadership is absolutely critical.
Today, it's a really critical and it's a big issue. We know the people who came from Rohingya. The Rohingya, they're suffering here. They're like staying here in a cage. They're like, it's a prison. We know that. We have sympathy for them. But still, you know, it's our country is Bangladesh, and you know, we are highly burdened with the population, and we have enough population. We have limited of resources. So from the people who are working on that, you must take it in your mind. As a Bangladeshi people, we must say that we have so many problems. As a police officer, we're working on law and order. You know, after the situation arrived at 2017, the law and order situation degrades. We're trying our level best. You know, we have lack of personnel, we have lack of logistics, but still we have to deal with 1 and 2 million Rohingya people. So we also should keep in mind that the Cox's Bazar is one and main tourist spot in our country. So it also facing so many problems with the Rohingya peoples. You know, they're coming out from the Rohingya camps and they're coming here and they're doing some criminal activities too. So we have to rethink about all those issues, including the law and order, including our financial, including our strength. Some of our colleagues, our guests said that we must think about their management. Okay, sure, we must think their management, their rights, their parts, but we also should not forget about the repatriation. It should be the main and first goal. After that, we can do our other management.
আমরা স্যার মোটামুটি আমরা এই রোহিঙ্গা ক্যাম্প এরিয়ার ভিতরে আমরা সার্বক্ষণিকভাবে আমরা যে 3টা ব্যাটালিয়ন পুলিশ 8 ABPN, 14 ABPN and 16 ABPN, which is located at Takrap Upazila, and 2 battalion are strongly contributing to law and order situation in the Rohingya camps area. আপনারা সবাই জানেন যে a lot of people, more than 1 million Rohingya people are living in that Rohingya camps area. তো এই স্বল্প সংখ্যক আসলে আইন শৃঙ্খলা রক্ষাকারী বাহিনীর সদস্যগুলো দিয়ে এত বিশাল জনগোষ্ঠী আইন শৃঙ্খলা রক্ষা করা এবং পাশাপাশি মানবাধিকার রক্ষা করা আসলে খুবই টাফ। তো আমরা সার্বক্ষণিকভাবে আমরা যারা আইন শৃঙ্খলা রক্ষার কাজে জড়িত আমরা সবসময় চেষ্টা করি যে আমরা যে জনগোষ্ঠীকে সেবা করার কাজে নিয়োজিত, আসলে ওরা কিন্তু আমাদের কোনো বাংলাদেশি নাগরিক না, এটা হচ্ছে আমাদের বিদেশি নাগরিক, কিন্তু ওদেরকে রক্ষা করতে গেলে আমাদের সার্বক্ষণিকভাবে যে বিষয়টা লক্ষ্য রাখতে হবে এটা হচ্ছে তাদের হিউম্যান রাইটস বিষয়টা, মানবাধিকার বিষয়টা। তাই সার্বক্ষণিকভাবে মানবাধিকার এবং 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 যে ধর্ম বর্ণ নির্বিশেষে অর্থাৎ জেন্ডার নির্বিশেষে আমরা যেন ওদের সার্বক্ষণিকভাবে যেন আমরা রক্ষা করতে পারি বা হিউম্যান রাইটসের যেন আমরা সেভ করতে পারি, এই বিষয়টা আমাদের সার্বক্ষণিকভাবে সার্বক্ষণিকভাবে এটা আমাদের নলেজে রাখতে হবে। তো আমরা যখনই আমাদের রোহিঙ্গা ইস্যু নিয়ে বা আইন শৃঙ্খলা সম্পর্কিত বিষয়গুলো নিয়ে আমরা যখনই আমাদের ঊর্ধ্বতন অফিসারদের সাথে কথাবার্তা বলি তখন আমরা আমাদের কিছু কিছু অফিসারদেরকে আমরা চাওয়া ব্যাপারে আমরা সবসময় আমরা অনুরোধ করি অন্তত জেন্ডার ইস্যু সম্পর্কে যারা সচেতন ওই সকল অফিসার বা ইন্টারন্যাশনাল এরিয়া সম্পর্কে মোটামুটি আইডিয়া আছে বা আন্তর্জাতিক যে জনগোষ্ঠী এদের সম্পর্কে কাজ করার যে সকল অভিজ্ঞতা আছে ওই সকল অফিসারদেরকে যেন আমরা অন্তত রোহিঙ্গা ক্যাম্পে আমাদের ব্যাটালিয়ন পুলিশগুলোতে অন্তত মোতায়েন করা হয়, আমরা সে ধরনের করি আমরা। এবং আজকের এই প্রোগ্রামটা আয়োজন করার জন্য আমি আসলে অক্সফাম কর্তৃপক্ষ এবং RRRC কর্তৃপক্ষকে আমি আন্তরিকভাবে আহ্বান জানাই এবং আমি পাশাপাশি অনুরোধ করব বা আহ্বান জানাবো আমাদের এই কক্সবাজার অঞ্চলের এই বিপুল জনসংখ্যার ভিড়ে অনুযায়ী উপজেলায় অন্তত আমরা রোহিঙ্গা জনগোষ্ঠীর জন্য আমরা সার্বিকভাবে অন্তত কিছু একটা করতে পারি, কিছুটা অবদান করতে পারি, অন্তত যতদিন ওরা আমাদের এই দেশে আশ্রিত হিসেবে বসবাস করবে অন্তত আমরা যেন ওদের সবার মঙ্গলের জন্য আমরা কোনো না কোনোভাবে অন্তত অবদান রাখতে পারি, তাদের মানবতার সেবায় যেন আমরা নিজেদেরকে নিয়োজিত করতে পারি।
We have seen a lot of things for a long history, and it also signifies this August gathering actually signifies and embellishes the unwavering commitment towards addressing one of the biggest humanitarian crises at the border, yet least celebrated across the world. We have developed, successfully developed, a mammoth architecture of collaborative actions, palpable innovative solutions, and pragmatic policy transformation. The book that has been just opened, unveiled, has illustrated the collective efforts in a particular area. Throughout the history, we have seen that the greenery of the southern Cox's Bazar has changed. We have seen how the Rohingya crisis has triggered the natural lush greenery of the southern Cox's Bazar, especially the hills and the forests. Suddenly overnight they turned into barren hills, dipping into the paleness and anguish and despair, and also hopelessness. Nevertheless, with a lot of collective effort, we have successfully been able to, obviously with the passage of time, the greenery has been revitalized through organized policy, humanitarian support, community forestry, mini farming activities. And when I say the greenery, it's not just the physical greenery, it's the color, bring the color back to life. There are so many good things that we have achieved so far that we can celebrate proudly, but yet there are issues that we should acknowledge. Since we are focusing on the MDMN camp, there are issues which are actually permeating and actually pilfering out of the MDMN camp and actually affecting and contaminating and intoxicating the adjacent communities and also the faraway districts of Bangladesh as well.
We are running short of funds. We are facing fund issues because of US situation, US presidency changeover, and we are thinking of reshaping our response to Rohingya crisis. But as a representative of the government and as I am working as a joint secretary in the Ministry of Disaster Management and also working as the head of refugee cell, I can assure you that government will continue its role in responding to Rohingya issues, and also government will take care of Rohingyas as long as they are staying here. And for Oxfam, I thank Oxfam for dealing with Rohingya issues, and as they are continuing in wash sector, as they are continuing wash sector, I congratulate Oxfam for continuing this work.
More than 700,000 people crossed the border. There was no arrangement for this, so many people, you know. It was a late monsoon even. So there's no wash facilities there, you know. But the organization like BRAC, Oxfam, they started, you know, working. And that, the Bangladeshi people particularly, the local people, Uki and Teknam people, I always, you know, express my gratitude to the local people. If I had the opportunity to reward them, I would reward them with Nobel Peace Prize, you know, because that thing they have been doing in the local people. So that legacy we set up, the legacy now we are talking about, the legacy of managing so many people in a very short time without any preparation. And even the international organization were not at that time in the field. We Bangladeshi people, the local people, we, you know, used to manage this huge crisis at that time, and not that much cholera outbreak we experienced. Not that much. Even the people came with, you know, the malnutrition, severe malnutrition. When they came with the cholera outbreak, but there was no that much death toll. That happened in even 1978 in floods time. We heard that the 10,000 people at that time died because of cholera, you know. So this time we managed it and we set the legacy. So now if you talk about the wash sector, it's a very critical sector in this crisis response out of 8-9 sectors. It's a very critical and very cross-cutting, you know. It goes with health sector in hands in hand, you know. And when you talk about the large number of population in a small area of land, and land is difficult terrain, you know.
Here we can say that since the arrival of this Rohingya community, of this Rohingya people, even near past since 2017, but before that, 2 influx happened back in 1978, another one was 1991. And even as RRRC Mr. Mijan Rahman was telling about the recent past 60,000 people new arrival of the Rohingya community here in Bangladesh. So it's a huge gathering now. It's exceeded 1.2 million people here in this small area. And everybody here expressed their very much concern that they are human beings and they are growing up and they are passing their lives without having specific hope as human beings. This is a big concern. We are having almost 30 to 33,000 newborn babies every year from this Rohingya community. And these people, these newborn babies are adding more and more pressure on their shelter, food, health facilities and wash facilities also. So all these things we are thinking about, and we are just taking into our consideration what to do. What's the next? What's the last destination for these people? So we should think on this issue more and more deeply. And I thank Oxfam, and already we know that they did a tremendous job regarding WASH. Because you know, these huge people, they are producing huge number of people, and this is a big issue to manage. For the management of this They did a tremendous job, in fact. And today's arrangement, today's discussion meeting, of course, as RRRC was telling about, in collaboration with INGO and government part, I think this will bring us another solution and another area of thinking what we can do for the next journey. I think all the participants will do, and I believe that this event is an opportunity to showcase incredible work done by Oxfam, and of course with the support of government of Bangladesh.